let's go, guys. Let's talk about the Tigers. Let's talk about the West Tigers. To me, Jerome Luai was brought to the West Tigers to win those games, and he could arguably be my favourite player. But that was a game that the West Tigers should have won against Newcastle on Friday night. I think both teams would be disappointed with the way they played, but for me, the West Tigers, that's why you buy Jerome Luai, because he's going to win those tight games.
He was playing against Carl and Ponga. That was outstanding.
Yeah, but, mate, they got to a lead, and then the floodgates opened defensively in the second half for them. They missed an enormous amount of tackles. If I'm the West Tigers, that's the games that they're talking about that they need to win. And it didn't happen.
West Tigers number one ticket holder.
Hoops?
No, I'm definitely not the number one ticket holder, Gordy, but obviously a long-term member of the club. Look, it was a hard watch. I thought there were some really positive signs at stages of the opening half. The critical turning points were when Jerome Luai kicked that bomb up and Callum Ponga managed to orchestrate a 7-tackle set. I thought, Jammer, there were stages where Lockie Galvin, I love the way that both halves were prepared to play full field and float to both sides, but there were stages where Galvin was finding himself back on the left, which I think is his preferred side and his natural side, but then he was kicking off his right foot. It looked a bit ungainly. It's like when a horse is on the wrong leg. I thought Terrell May was really strong in the middle. Fanua Bole did some great things, but unfortunately, something that all Tigers members and fans have become all too familiar with is that they find a way to lose in those close contests. So that was one that got away.
That's it, Hoops. And for me, watching them the first half, they would have been in the dressing rooms delighted with where they're at. It felt like when they came out in the second half, they stopped playing. It looked a team that was edgy and nervous. And I think both teams looked edgy and nervous, and they almost were playing not to lose. I think they pulled themselves back a little bit, the Tigers, in that second half, and just stopped playing. And as fatigue came into the game, that's when Newcastle really opened up. I think as a defensive unit, and I'm talking about defense in things like kick chase. I know Ponga was brilliant to get the ball out twice, but there's no way that should happen.
Yeah,
against a quality side.
Yep.
A defensive unit, that does not happen. And Ponga,
do you reckon it's belief, Gemma?
Well,
you said they stopped playing. Like, is there still that nerves? You know how, like sides that just win, Melbourne Storm, Penrith, it's contagious. They just don't know when they're beaten, right? Look at the grand final a couple of years ago. Sides that have lost games and find ways to lose it.
Well, let's say today, say Storm are up 8-0 at half-time against Para. They won't just defend their way to victory or be on edge. They'll put the foot to the throat. They'll go and they'll keep playing because they know the game's not done. And I felt as if the Tigers, like, they went into their shell a little bit. And you know, the focus on the Tigers, they brought in some quality attacking players, especially Luai. But you know, defense was going to be their issue. They missed a lot of tackles, but I thought they scrambled really well. But like I say, they're a team that are not accustomed to winning. And they were almost looking for a way to lose the game.
You can't. Can you miss 50+ tackles? I know Canterbury were probably the anomaly to it last season
because of their system. But the system is Hoops. The reason it works at Canterbury is because their system backs it up. So they're okay to miss tackles. But with the Tigers, but again they only conceded 2 tries. But
it wasn't a flogging.
No, it wasn't.
Look, it was bitterly disappointing after an off-season of a lot of optimism and some key signatures. I thought a lot of them performed quite strongly, and I think they will continue to build. I'll tell you whose performance I was really wrapped with was the young gun hooker. He didn't start the game, but when he came on, Talon De Silva, he showed some real class. He looks an enormous player of the future. Depth is going to be a challenge for the Tigers. I think if they get a couple of injuries out wide, then all of a sudden things start to look a little bit thin. But it is only round one, and you know, from where they're coming from, off the back of 3 wooden spoons, it's a very low. You can't get any lower as a base.
You'd think though, wouldn't you? If we were to go back last week or earlier this week and say the Knights only scored 10 points.
You'd say the Tigers win.
Absolutely.
Since 2012, they haven't made the 8, right? And we just talked about that. I mean, only in rugby league would they be chips in on a coach that had, with Benji, that had zero experience and that they've backed him. Only in rugby league will that happen because, you know, every other sport you go and get an experienced coach, but not the West Tigers. They've gone with Benji. So this is a watershed year for him. And I'm not cool. I like Benji Marshall. The jury as our first grade coach is still out. They've gone chips in. They've got Luai. They've got Taruva there. They've got May. But he has to deliver this year as a coach. And I didn't see enough in week 1 to go, and I know you said they're going to be on the rise. I didn't see enough for them because they got out to a good lead.
It was just a nervous start.
Okay. Maybe.
It was
Maybe,
a pretty ordinary, to be fair, it was a pretty ordinary game.
Yeah.
It was a pretty ordinary, scrappy style of a round 1 contest. I don't think you can take a hell of a lot out of it, Dobbo. To your point about Benji, don't blame Benji. Benji didn't ask for the 5-year deal. The club gave him that. So now
there's
they
still
need
rumblings
to
in the board, isn't there? Hoops. There's 3 board members have been sacked. You know, in the off season, there's
hang on, we've got people driving off the road. If we're going to get
training too hard,
if we're going to get into the ins and outs of the West Tigers boardroom, people are glazing over and driving off the road.
That's been the problem. That has been the problem with that club. The
board's like to nip this in the bud really quickly. The board is now finally settled, right? There's some squabbling going on. The West Tigers board is settled. They have appointed new directors.
Yep.
They now have an entirely new setup. Shane Richardson's the CEO.
Yes.
There's some squabbling going on with the ownership group, which is the Holman Barnes Group. But honestly, it's the ins and outs of a Cats Chaminda vast, some of it. It is very, very tiring. I don't think our listeners...
well, I just think
diving into it.
I think I don't know if everything's settled there. Shane Richardson's the right bloke to get this club back on track, absolutely. But I still don't think it's anywhere near a finished product, anywhere close to it.
Well, thanks.
The jury's obviously still out on
the
Benji
side
Marshall.
that's got the 3 wooden spoons in a row, 2 or 3.
No,
it's not a finished.
You guys can go on all you want, but I'm just telling you now.
Footy club.
I'm just telling you. You said they're going to be the best team on the rise. I haven't seen that yet. No matter what, Jerome Luai was bought, paid a lot of money to win clutch games.
Yeah, and he tried hard.
Who was their best player last year? Tell me, who was their best player last year?
Well, either Appy or Buller.
Yeah,
and neither of them played. Neither of them played on Friday night.
Well, here's a stat. Dan Ginnane told me this stat. In the last 2 years, West Tigers with Appy Coruscant have won 10 games. They haven't won a game without him.
There you go.
Of course.
In 2 years.
Yep. That's how important he is. So look,
I know they've not won many.
Yeah,
but they've yet to win without Appy.
Yep, that doesn't surprise me.
He will open up. He'll give them time and space. Appy's deception around the ruck is unbelievable, and De Silva was great. And then he was on 360, and mate, for a young kid to come and sit in the media in the hot seat, he did a great job there as well. And he's a player of the future. But I think Appy's still their best option at number 9, and if he'll get the forwards rolling through the middle, which will give Jerome some more time and space. And Galvin
with that spine, Bula, Galvin, Luai, Appy. There's 2 premiership winners in there, and Shane Richardson, the CEO of the club, came out. Am I correct in thinking he said they're a top 4 spine? Am I on the money there?
No, I think you are right. Yes, you are. I must say that I understand where he's coming from, but at the moment, they're coming off 3 spoons, so I'd have to respectfully disagree with Richo on that. I'm not saying they're not immensely talented. They are. Appy and Jerome are proven. Buller and Galvin are young guns on the rise, but they've still got a lot to learn. And I think there's still, once you get Appy back, to your point about that stat, Jammer, which is critical, once I get Appy back, I think then we can begin to judge the Tigers. It's only round 1. It's very early days. It was a scrappy game. They'll improve off the back of it.
Tristan Hope, 27-year-old debutant from Toowoomba. Good story. Went down as a training trial. Great story. I thought that was good. I thought Bradman Best for the Knights was a little bit off. I thought, without Kalen, they were very lucky to win. But and Adam O'Brien didn't like the media coverage of the commentators, the coverage broadcasters focusing on him and the commentary box. I'm sorry. That's part of being a coach now.
When did he say that in the press conference?
In the press
afterwards?
conference. Yeah, in the press conference. He didn't like the fact that they kept on putting the cameras on the box because he has a blow-up in him. And
But
obviously...
he didn't. He walked away. He did the Craig. He just took a leaf out of Craig Bellamy's.
a couple of times he was pointing and shouting when they went there. But I don't have a problem with the media broadcasters focusing on the commentary box. That's entertainment. That's part of the deal. You're a first-rate coach.
Which one do we like? Do you like the Craig Bellamy, Desi, Tuvey, or do you like Wayne sitting there like a cardboard cutout?
Oh, you like the Bellamy one. You like a Ricky Stewart chair kick. I mean,
I love Ricky on the sideline.
Yes,
It's funny.
100%.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I love it. Mate, I love it. So, like, then in Vegas, like, Ricky walks down and he's on the field. He goes, why would coaches? Because, like, the coaches were right at the top of the stand, obviously because it's for NFL and they want to see the whole plays and they got screens and coaches down there, or they got all their tech guys. The coaches' box was up
next
on
to our
the
commentary
highest
box.
level.
Right next to our commentary box for
Yeah,
the
nosebleed
radio,
section.
for the nosebleed. Yeah, unbelievable.
And then Ricky goes, I'm on the sideline today. Why isn't every coach down here?
Yeah, you don't blame
I'm
him.
like, I don't blame you either.
Yeah. Either way, West Tigers, we're going to have a look at them in the next couple of weeks. And Hoops, I know you say the board is boring, but happy board, happy club.
Well, the board.
What?
Relates,
Hold
not
on,
listening.
hold
Hang on.
on.
Your ears are painted on, right?
Happy
not for the
board,
first
happy
time.
club.
I tell you, you just have a look at the results. Just wait and see.
Happy
Yeah, hang on,
board,
Dobbo.
happy
We got a
Dobbo.
long
club.
season. We'll just wait and see.
Well, they've got
Okay.
they've got some
Can we
interesting
write that
games
down?
coming up.
Mate,
The Tigers.
Can we start Dobbo's sayings, right?
Yeah.
Happy board, happy club. I'm getting a T-shirt.
We'll
mate.
get it made. I'll
look,
get another T-shirt made.
You know,
You're a
the
buffoon.
The Tigers
we're
start.
gonna-
The
Can you
Tigers
send the
start to the
board-
season, Dobbo. Like,
Yeah.
they play a lot of teams that didn't play finals football last year. So it's Eels next week, Dolphins away the following, Warriors at home, which didn't make another team didn't make the 8. Then the Broncos, then the Knights again. Like it's important that they
start
get
for 'em.
it. It's a favourable start.
Yep.
For Benji's second year in charge.
Yep.
Very favourable start. And obviously, there's no such thing as an easy game, but that is something that you'd look to do. Build off that. So it's important that they get this game management, this ability to close out maybe these close games, because you can envisage the games against the Dolphins, the Eels, the Warriors, and then again against the Knights to be close. Or that's what they'd be hoping
Well,
for.
they don't need to be close. They need to be wins.
Dobbo.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Close as in you get the win, Ben.
Let's talk about the Rabbitohs. Wayne Benedera back, and the Rabbitohs have a win, 16 points to 14. Hoops, there were some real positives from a side, one being Campbell Graham's return to first grade after being out for in excess of 500 days with that sternum injury. Look, it was gutsy. It was a Wayne Bennett coach side, and obviously they are going to get better, with Alex Johnson and Latrell to come back there. But there were some real positive signs for South Sydney when a lot of people have said to them they were going to do it tough this year.
Enormous positives. Young Jai Gray, he's such a jack-in-the-box and electric style of a player. I think even when Latrell does return, what round one Friday night showed us was Wayne Bennett's just got to find a place for Jai in the side somewhere. I'm not sure whether his best position might be halfback, because he actually came through primarily up on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland as a half. So it was only last year that he began his journey playing fullback in the New South Wales Cup for Souths. He then finished up taking out the John Sattler Award for the Bunnies as their Rookie of the Year after I think he played about 13 NRL games. He's an electric player, and they've got to find a place for him in the team somewhere. No Cameron Murray, obviously, for long parts of this season, if not all of it. I thought Lachlan Hubner showed that he is just a typical Wayne Bennett effort everywhere style of player. Yes, he made some errors along the way, but I tell you what, he does not quit. So Wayne will be wrapped with his performance. I felt for young Tyrone Munro. That's a major injury for Tyrone. He's such a great young bloke. He's been through a hell of a lot over the course of the last 12 months. And for him to get back on the field and then have this latest setback, it is shattering. But I know what a competitor he is, and I'm sure that he'll work hard in his rehab and he'll be back. But you're right, Dobbo. There were plenty of positives. It was a scrappy game, but there were plenty of positives for the Bunnies considering the circumstances and all the personnel they were missing.
All their back five really chipped in, didn't they? Led by Jai Gray. Obviously, Munro went off at half time with that collarbone injury, but He scored 2 tries. Cass, Whiten, Campbell Graham, who was outstanding on his return. They really helped their forwards out. They were struggling to generate momentum through the middle of the field, and those back 5 really came up with big performances. I thought they were exceptional, and I think you've got to look at the Dolphins' inability to find Sullivan, who was defending at centre next to Humphreys, I believe. I thought they should have looked to really go after those two, but you're right in your assessment, Hoops, with some of the players that stood up for South Sydney, and it was the first half especially was a Wayne Bennett first half. They were 19 from 20 from memory, and it's hard to beat when a team completes at that level.
Yeah, and I think Latrell could come back and play centres, a bit like Tommy Travojevic, right? I don't know how many games Latrell's played in the last 3 years, but there's a lot of little hamstring and little tears, and I don't think he needs the kilometres. And when he plays his best, he plays centres. You only got to watch him play for New South Wales. He can still have the same impact. But I love watching Cody Walker without having another dominant half.
Yeah,
Cody playing both sides, running a team, popping up everywhere. That was, I reckon, that was a positive. You know how you just see some players that sit on one side, they run the same plays, and that's all they get. But Cody just bouncing around, I thought it was one of, something that Wayne will probably look at and try to.
There was a try on the left edge that didn't actually involve Cody Walker.
Yes,
which is bizarre to see. You kind
Unheard of.
You look back and you watch the replay and you're like, why isn't Cody there? What's he doing?
Yeah,
maybe that's an advancement of his game.
The issue that South have got is that they went and bought Lewis Dodd to wear the number 7 jersey. And after Jamie Humphrey's performance, he won't get dropped next week. So
is
Lewis
he a bodybuilder?
He's got legs. He's got tree trunks. I heard.
Well, I think the plan was on Humphreys. I think the plan was that they were going to play him a fair bit of dummy half. So I think he's obviously done a lot of work in the gym over the course of the summer. To prepare for playing in the middle. And then when Dodd got suspended out of the Charity Shield. And Humphreys was that good in the Charity Shield when Dodd went off anyway that I think he won the number 7 jumper straight out as it was.
Yeah,
but now they've got some decisions to make because some of that floating kick that he put in early on. That's as good as you'll see. And he's another one who he has come through primarily in the halves. He's played in the halves his whole life.
My mail is that Humphreys will be named again next week. The number 7. So Dodd's going to have to work his way back in. And you said that, I was watching the coverage on Fox, Jammer, and you indicated that as well. Even though he'd been selected and he's been brought over here, it's funny how opportunities come for different players. Dodd's now going to have to work his way through the New South Wales Cup to get back into that side.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't think you can drop Humphreys after the level of performance. So it just, Dodd's come over on a pretty decent contract and would have envisaged starting the season in the number 7. That didn't happen due to suspension, and I don't think you can take that jersey away from Humphreys. We're talking about, if you're talking about one of the star halfbacks of the game that gets suspended in a trial and a rookie comes in and plays well, then you go, well, hang on, let's take into consideration previous history. But with Dodd, he doesn't have that history here in the NRL. So despite the fact that him being a high-profile recruit from England, he doesn't have the runs on the board here.
Yep.
So it's a different kettle of fish, and I think you've got to stick with Humphreys.
Can we just quickly touch on, and we talked earlier, you gave them the Mitsubishi Triton toughest player, the team, just the impact of having to have your plans uprooted so close to kick-off. Jammer and Gordy, both of you guys played it at the first grade level, at the highest level. They'd been planning to play at Suncorp. It's a home game. You get up, your big crowd, and then to have it shifted to CommBank, it has to have had an
disruption.
Impact.
Probably a little bit. But you're still catching a bus. You're still warming up. You're still in the dressing room. You're still pulling on your socks the same way you would. That's about it. And don't forget, South didn't play at their home ground either, did they?
No, they did not. No, they didn't.
So it was a strange game, but I don't think that's an excuse. I think they're the little things that you got to overcome. They've got enough experience in the team.
Geez, they missed Nicarima. They missed Nicarima.
Also, Dobber, with what happened in 2020, 2021, players are used to, or certainly become a bit more familiar with, things changing at the last minute, players dropping out, and even Christian Wolf himself. Like, I was there in England with him when, players test positive for COVID, or there'd been a close contact in the training video session to someone that had tested positive. They test negative, but it's a close contact. They're not allowed to play. Yep. Even Wolfie himself was, had to coach from his own lounge room because he was a close contact.
We have arguably the best caller in the game in Dan Ginnane, who will be calling this game, but we have to address Friday night. Now, for those who...
Hello, everyone, by the way.
Hello,
Dan.
Nice
to see you.
How are you?
Excellent.
For those...
Sorry, Dan, for some reason, Dobbo's come in on this segment. He's not supposed to be.
Asked.
No, because...
There's a reason.
No, I want to know, then, and this is what we all have heard on Friday night. Can we please play the tape of Dan Ginnane and the alleged mistake that was made very, very easily? Go ahead.
It comes away to Marju. Marju gets there. Marju gets there. Newcastle on the verge of mucking it up again, but Marju finds his way to the line. And finally, the Knights have taken the lead.
Now, what I heard...
That's the first I've heard that, by the way.
What I heard was mucking. Now, some people have assumed it was something else. And, Dan, you have come out on social media platforms and said, rightly so, you did not say that word.
Jeez, Dobbo. Okay. All right.
Hey,
I'll get to it all. I'll get to it all. Well, yes,
Can I
Buzz.
say,
Yes.
I thought you dropped the F-bomb.
Same here.
Hearing
I
that,
dead set
it sounds
dead.
like it.
Yeah.
Now, that was taken from the TV, I gather, not from someone tweeted it, and that's what spread like. Can we load it up and play it again? Because I can acknowledge that does sound
make sure
like
he doesn't muck it up.
No, and I think it's either a whistle or because I didn't say it, but it's a whistle or Fox have these graphics that they make sounds. When a team scores, like if it's a Parramatta today, there'll be an electricity sound, electric eels. I don't know what the night sound is, or that might be the referee's whistle. But I acknowledge, and Triple M looking to get its pound of flesh, making sure we do this on camera so they can get their clicks too. I know best form of defence is attack here, and I've got a few things to say here. Yes, Jimmy.
I was thinking, trying to justify this. Maybe you're so sidetracked in a game featuring Royce Hunt. Like, you've got to
be careful.
You've got to be careful. No, but that's what I'm saying. You've got to be careful. That's where your head's at. And then all that, that's all your distraction. And then you come up with
Can we play it again?
Let's play it
Can we
again.
play it again, please?
It comes away to Marju. Marju gets there. Marju gets there. Newcastle on the verge of mucking it up again. But Marju
Very close.
No, that's with a P.
I haven't said it. I haven't. It's the whistle or it's something, right? Now, I can only tell my side of the story, right? And that is, if you say that, Buzz, right, you know Jimmy and you know Gordy and Dobber, if someone says that in a commentary box, the other commentators are swiveling their heads like an owl. They didn't react.
Yes.
Cooper Cronk, Steve Roach, our tech guy Daniel behind, no idea that what it sounded like, right? So I said mucking. But I also accept that people here have heard what they've heard, and they're going to believe what they're going to believe. In this, I think Jack Howarth got the ball down in the grand final. Okay, and I don't care what angles the NRL shows me. You're not going to change my mind. So I'm going to acknowledge people are going to think, and probably justifiably so, I dropped the bomb. So yesterday I wake up, and so this was obviously the 6 o'clock game on Friday. I didn't hear a thing, and then I wake up yesterday, and Buzz, I'm a night owl, right? These boys know. I go to bed late, I wake up late. Anyway, full of messages. And I have no idea what they mean. But it all has the word mucking in it. And I'm starting to rack my brain. Well, obviously this refers to last night. I have no idea what was going on. But I've got a game to worry about. It's the first round of the season. There's a bit of study involved. Dragons, Bulldogs. I'm excited about that game. I'm now starting to get ready for that game. Anyway, my boss calls, Steve Crawley. I won't go into the details of the conversation, but he was very supportive. And we actually talked about the new AFL coverage on Fox for 10 minutes. It was hardly a concern of his, but he just wanted to let me know, Dan, this is what's going on. I know you didn't say the F word, but just, this is what's happening. This is the world of social media. And until I'd heard that right there, I thought whatever was going around might have been doctored. But no, that's clearly what has come across on air sounds suspicious, and I accept that. I've done live broadcasting for 20 plus years. I've never said the F word live on air, but I understand what it sounds like. Can happen, but no. Didn't happen, Dobbo.
No, I 100%.
Dobbo, you little bus driver.
No, I absolutely. I've heard mugging.
You're going to take me down a path here that I'm now. This is why I asked Dobbo to come.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
So
You know
done
what,
by
Dan?
yes, Buzz.
Any publicity in my book is good publicity.
As
long as they spell your name right.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought you were going to plead the fifth.
No.
And just
I didn't say it, but it sounds like I said it. So I got a right, I find it funny.
I don't think it sounds like you say it at all.
No,
okay.
Play it again.
No, I've listened to it twice. I genuinely don't hear it at all.
You know what made me feel better? Because I didn't want to hear it because I knew it would be in my head. I had a big game yesterday, big atmosphere, wanted to be 100% for that. So I didn't listen to it, right? Because I could have easily gone back and found it. But then someone told me the Triple M Saturday show played it. Now, if they actually think I said it, there's not even Triple M. The ballsy Triple M.
We wouldn't be joking about that.
Could play it.
No way.
So, story's done, right? It's by midday, everyone's had their fun. They're having fun with me. All good. It's all good. Then I'm driving to Cogger. I'm on the Princess Highway. I'm at the lights there at the Rockdale Plaza. I'm about 10 minutes away. I'm excited for this game. Phone rings. It's Peter Bedell, right, who I've always got on well with. We came up together at the same time. He was working for AAP. I was here. And we've always had a great relationship. And he's apologetic to bring this up. Dan, you know what's going on. Can I get some quotes? Because it is a big story. And he's really sheepish about the whole thing, right? And he gets, and I just say, what I've said to you. I didn't say it. I can understand people thinking what they did, but I promise you I didn't say it. And that was the end of that. And that was the end of that. I parked at Cogger and I'm walking up. Now my mind's starting to work. Now it's in my head. Geez, this must be really bad if I'm getting calls from journalists. The only journalist, by the way. I didn't get a call from Buzz. I didn't get a call from Weidler. I didn't get a call from anyone except Bedell.
But I do have text messages here from a very excited Peter Bedell yesterday afternoon saying, I've just spoken to Dan Ginnane, exclusive. He's spoken about the...
Well, everyone has my number, Buzz.
Yeah. He was very excited.
And I love Pete. And I've got no issue with Pete. And he actually said to me at the end of the conversation, Dan, we're good friends, which we are. Between you and me, I think you actually said it. And I respected that. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I did, maybe I don't think I did. But then as I'm walking up the stairs at Cogger Oval, the fire escape there, it starts to dawn on me, Gordy, who are the Batman and Robin of Brisbane media?
Oh, come on.
Bedell and Dobbin.
Mate, I hadn't even heard it till then.
No one works the angles behind the scenes better than Ben Dobbin.
No,
mate, listen.
I have not spoken to Bedell.
Listen, I'm surprised the ambulance chasers are in here. They're not out here like filling sandbags.
Because Bedell didn't want to ring me. I could tell he was embarrassed to ring me.
Well, that's the act he plays. I can tell you now. I haven't even spoken to Bedell.
Well,
and Dan, I have always been rock solid, having your back.
Yeah, but on air, I don't think you said
you can call
mucking
bullshit
clearly.
on that.
I mean, doth protest is too much. I'm just putting it out there, Dobbo, that someone, a teammate, by the way, News Limited, I know we're owned by different people, but we're all now, we're still teammates. The one journalist to ring me as a teammate, and he's going to run a story to keep this thing going. Someone has egged him on to do it. That's all I'm saying. And again,
he's easily,
no problem with Bedell. I'll talk to him anytime,
you know
any
what
place.
Bedell was looking for? He was looking for clicks.
Okay,
It was a big story yesterday.
I know it was, Buzz. What didn't you ring?
was
I
it?
would have given you the
It's actually not a story.
Is it a big story?
No, but it's clicks. That's all that matters.
It
I mean,
is.
why are we
No,
on
but-
level?
no.
Jimmy,
But
why
isn't
are we
their
on
job-
level 14 right now with the cameras so they can get their KPIs out there? Because that's what this game is all about. It's all about clicks.